or water-related. That includes floods and droughts. Zara is a climate activist from Chad, where hundreds of thousands of people were affected by catastrophic floods just last year.
We all deserve clean water. We all deserve water. And I know that some of our region in Chad, they don't even get water. I can give you an example of the water that people in my neighborhood is drinking, something like that. And I hope you can see the color change and many things. In Chad, if you want to have clean water, you have to spend hours and hours. That's the reason why most of the girls, they abandon school for searching water. They face many problems when they go searching water. They maybe get raped, violated.
UNICEF says this water crisis could be fixed by the end of the decade, but it comes with a cost, an estimated $114 billion a year at least.
Time is not for promises, time is for actions. If all of us, we join our voices, we can move things, we can change many things.
Well, this is a crisis so serious that the UN held its first water conference in more than 45 years last week, and they made one thing pretty clear. We are not on track to meet our global water goals by the end of this decade. Well, coming up this morning, another red state is expanding the Affordable Care Act, and they are not alone. What's making lawmakers change their tune nearly 15 years after that bill first passed? That's coming up next.
Watch NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, podcast fans, ready to unlock our true crime mysteries? Try Dateline Premium on Apple Podcasts. You'll get early access to originals, plus bonus content, and everything is ad-free. So head to Apple Podcasts now to subscribe.
What is going to happen now?
Going back and forth quickly.
Oh, yeah, this is it, right?
Welcome back. It's a big day in North Carolina as the state is set to become the 40th in the U.S. to expand Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, this move comes after North Carolina's Republican legislature passed the measure last week. Later today, Governor Roy Cooper is set to sign that bill into law. The governor spoke about the bill earlier this morning, saying it was a big win for working families.
I'm about to sign the Working Families Bill of the Decade. This is going to help child care workers, direct care workers who help our seniors, people who stock our grocery stores, work in our restaurants, those who have fallen in that gap. Many have died because they haven't had health insurance.
NBC News correspondent Dasha Burns joins us now from Raleigh, North Carolina. Dasha, good morning. So North Carolina is the latest red state to join this trend of expanding Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act. Can you just talk to us about how we got here and what made North Carolina lawmakers change their mind on this issue?
Yeah, Zinkley, what we're talking about here today would have been virtually unimaginable a decade ago, even 5 years ago. But in the 13 years since the passage of the Affordable Care Act, Republicans have been going through a sort of evolution on the idea of Medicaid expansion under the law, a program that would allow those in the coverage gap to enroll in Medicaid. And look, the reason that the North Carolina story is so important is because while other states have enacted this expansion, they've largely done so through ballot measures when their legislatures have refused to do so. In this case, it is the Republican-led state House and state Senate that have passed this bill. And so we might be asking ourselves now, why has this happened at this point? And there are a few reasons here. One, the Republican lawmakers that we talked to maintain that this would not have worked back in the day. They say, and guys, to that point, not only has there been an evolution in the minds of Republican lawmakers, but also the Republican constituency has changed to more rural, more working class, more blue collar folks who do rely on programs like Medicaid, guys.
Important analysis on a big day. Dasha Burns, thank you so much. And coming up, prosecutors pushback.
Yeah, the new legal drama in that deadly movie set shooting involving Alec Baldwin and what the actor is saying about the case now. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Hallie. It's good to be with you tonight. There's another legal filing today, and I want to cut through some of the weedsy stuff. And let's just get to the point. They have started to vote on the PACT Act. If you're like, Hallie, stop speaking Washingtonese. This bill would basically give health care to veterans who have exposed to these toxic chemicals. So, Scott, I'm trying to make this as not DC as possible. The increased sort of anger that we've seen now in politics. I saw you searching for, I think, your microphone, Danny. You are.
I was trying to do it on the slide.
Live TV, man. It's okay.
Welcome back. It's back to court for the Rust shooting case today. Both the defense and prosecution are set to square off over the appointment of a special prosecutor in this case.
Yeah, that's after the previous special prosecutor, Andrea Reeves, stepped down from the case earlier this month. Alec Baldwin's lawyers accused her of having a conflict of interest in the case since she is also a state lawmaker. Cinematographer Helena Hutchins died on the set of the movie Rust 2 years ago.
NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos joins us now for more on this. Good morning, Danny. So what's the latest here on both sides of this, and what exactly are they arguing in regards to the special prosecutor?
First, the defense pointed out that the mandatory minimum charges that were the most serious charges were unconstitutional. And the prosecution withdrew them, saying, oh, those defendants, they're just so litigious, we're just avoiding, even though it would have been tossed. Now, they appoint a special prosecutor, and the defense says, well, that's unconstitutional, too. And their approach, again, OK, we'll pull that special prosecutor, but it's not our fault. It's those pesky defendants. Well, pesky defense attorneys are paid to do that kind of thing, to attack the state's case. And it seems that, yet again, the state cannot seem to use special prosecutor statute properly or in the spirit for which it's intended, because it's not designed to draw upon the state coffers to build an army to go after one defendant. That's not the spirit of justice here. So I don't think this is this is yet another bumble in a series.
And Danny, in sort of a separate vein, Alec Baldwin is alleging that his constitutional rights were violated by the appointment of this special counsel. Does that hold merit, legal merit?
It might, because think about how unusual this prosecution is. By the way, special prosecution is not necessarily good prosecution. And you shouldn't marshal all the state's resources and step into separation of powers issues just because there's one person that you want to take down. And that may be the problem here. By blending the executive branch and, say, the legislative branch, as they did when the initial special prosecutor wanted to continue her job despite being a state legislator. Look, these arguments are novel because normally prosecutions don't involve drawing on the entire state's resources and possibly crossing some lines. So it may hold water, but so far the defense is batting 1,000. They haven't lost yet. Every motion they've made has chipped away at this case. And honestly, I don't know if in a year there's still going to even be a case when it comes to trial time.
Okay. Wow, stretched out so far already. So I have to ask you quickly here, what's next for this case after the judge makes the decision?
It'll move along towards trial time. I mean, this period of discovery is where each side amasses their case. And the state still has work to do, but the defense has a lot of work to do. Hire experts, conduct their testing. So they have their work cut out for them. But this is sort of the outwardly nothing appears to be going on, but inwardly this is like the duck. On the top of the water, you don't see the duck doing much work. Underwater, feet paddling furiously. And that's what we're seeing as we move to trial. You won't see a whole lot from the defense, but they are prepping, and they're going to keep filing these motions. I wouldn't be surprised, as I said, this case goes away.
Yep, so much interest in it already, and more to come. Danny Ceballos, thanks so much.
Thank you. Now, let's take a look at what's making financial headlines. Changes to the Uber Eats app. You may want to double check if your favorite restaurants are still available for delivery.
CNBC's Silvana now joins us with that and more. Silvana, good morning.
Stephen Zinkley, good morning to you. Yes, so Uber Eats is removing thousands of online-only brands from the app. The Wall Street Journal reports that the move is being done out of concern that the platform is getting clogged by restaurants that list multiple brands with different names but have the same menu. The number of virtual brands on Uber Eats has quadrupled over the past few years, 1,000. Customers say ordering on apps can now be intimidating. Parts of Twitter's source code were leaked online, possibly for months, creating a major risk for the social media platform controlled by Elon Musk. The New York Times reports Twitter disclosed the breach in illegal filing late Friday when it sent a request to the coding platform GitHub to get it removed. Sources say the source code could expose vulnerabilities, giving hackers the ability to steal user data or take down the entire site. Twitter believes it was posted by a former employee who left the company last year. Nintendo is shutting down the online shops for the Wii U and 3DS devices today. Now, while you won't be able to purchase games from either store, you can still re-download games you've already bought and play online for the time being. Nintendo first warned about the shutdown last year and started halting users from loading money into the shops in August, guys.
A lot to watch there. Silvana Henao, thank you so much.
You got it.
Turning now to our AI Revolution series. This time, we're taking a big leap into the future as a lab in Singapore is using this new tech to peek into our minds. NBC News technology correspondent Jake Ward has the story.
On the campus of the National University of Singapore, Professor Helen Zhao and a team of researchers say artificial intelligence is letting them see, well, a version of our thoughts. This subject demonstrated the process.
Our colleague, Eric, right now is inside the scanner.
Using a database of fMRI scans, the AI first got to see what people's brains looked like as they viewed more than 1,000 photos. Then it was shown only brain scans as the subjects looked at new photos. Using a special language of brain activity the team developed, an image generator called Stable Diffusion then tried to recreate what each new photo had shown.
Wow, so as long as I have seen it and you know the patterns of my brain, then the AI will read that out of my brain.
Yes, exactly.
Scientists have pursued this for years, but AI makes the difference. Here's a giraffe shown to a subject. Now, ready? Here's the image the AI created. And it is sometimes very different between people. Here's the original image of a grassy field. Now here's 3 different versions generated from 3 different people's brain activity. Now, what you're seeing is a recording of previous scans, not a real-time demonstration. And this process is slow, it requires an expensive machine, and it has to be individually tailored.
So unless you have taken a long time to train the model on an individual, it doesn't work.
Yes, at least at this stage, but we're trying to generalize across subjects in the future.
And that future is upon us. At the University of Texas, another team is learning to pull word sequences using a similar technique. And a multi-university team last year found that in fMRI tests, these regions of the brain reliably predicted whether a subject leaned liberal or conservative. It is all part of a grand scientific ambition to decode and maybe even transmit thought, to restore lost sight and hearing, to observe consciousness itself. But research is one thing.
I worry that it quickly leaves that realm of well-meaning scientists to commodification of deeply personal information about people.
The last 30 years have seen an explosion of new brain tech companies and patent applications. Now, as AI makes the text smaller and more powerful, Duke law professor Nita Farahani worries it'll be used to not just read minds, but judge them.
This is a world in which not just your brain activity is being collected and your brain states from attention to focus is being monitored, but people are being hired and fired and promoted based on what their brain metrics show.
Even for the team leader in Singapore, the prospect of a corporate use of this technology without privacy laws in place is too risky.
Are you the kind of person that would want to wait for better governance before you let somebody decode your brain?
I might be the person who wants to try. I think once it is a commercialized product, for example, then I would like to wait a little bit.
Mind reading, with all its unthinkable promise and peril made real. Jake Ward, NBC News.
Interesting stuff. All right, coming up, bad blood. Hundreds of Taylor Swift fans are taking on Ticketmaster in court. What they're demanding amid new outrage involving the ticketing giant.
That's right. Plus, from 64 to 4, how we arrived at one of the most surprising Final Fours of all time. That's next.